Sweet. We're here. Okay. When last we left off, Avonwaith was rescued from wherever he was with the Raven. We can't be sure where. Avonwaith had managed to scrawl some letters into the stone in the cemetery, which was revealed to everybody else. They then realised that there was something to do with Porthmus which might need to be resolved, and they somehow managed to get Avonmaith back. Um, uh, Meanwhile, Quinn was waging a silent war in her head against the children learning the alphabet. Because, of course, they are at fault here, and how else could it be? We are still stood in the village of Whiteshade, and you are still stood in the cemetery. Your parents and assorted loved ones have vanished, some in nicer ways than others, but the impact of them being here remains in the ground, in the dirt, and in a letter that Shen has received. Um, what do you each want to do? You are in this village. You have just received your friend back. What's the crack?
So hey guys, I was able to get this piece of the Raven.
What?
Raven.
The
Piece of the what?
The what?
The Raven. Don't you guys know who the Raven is? Is he the
Oh
guy with
yeah,
the...
but we don't know where you went or anything.
Well, I think someone must have wished for Portmas that we get our relatives back. And I think I'm related to the Raven. And next thing I know, I'm in this weird nether world with the Raven. And he was talking all in poems, and I grabbed this piece off of him, and look, there's like stuff written on it.
What?
Yeah. Thanks, by the way, for getting me back, you guys. I wasn't sure there for a minute.
Yeah, well, some people thought that people were working on their alphabet.
Well, yeah, I tried to write too much at first, and then I simplified it, so that made it a little easier, I think.
Most of us got the clue, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Most.
Yeah, 90%. So, what do you mean that you got a piece of the Raven?
He was made out of paper, and I was starting to turn into paper. But fortunately, when I came back here, I'm back to normal. But I pulled on a piece of him, and this paper came off.
Are you sure you were just taking some special weeds or something?
You were over in the garden.
Yeah.
I ate the same things you guys did. I brought that all back, and you guys ate it too. So, but anyway, here's the paper right here. So this should be proof. You can read it.
Cirrus will take it and look at it and examine it.
Okay. Give me whatever check you want to give. For free, you can just. It is written. It is a page of a fairy tale. But if you want to investigate, if you want to look deeper,
I don't think I can swing. I don't think I can swing reasoning for insight into it, because what does the paper really want? The investigation will be more in line, I think, with what Cirrus is trying to accomplish.
Yeah, sure.
Oh gosh.
Well, no, my main thought was, is it in common?
Is it in common?
Like, can we read it?
Yeah,
okay.
It is. It's written in common. It's on old parchment. It's ripped at the top and the bottom edge. The line continues over the rip, so you know that it would have continued on past this point. It's not like a page from a book where you have a clear border.
I was leaning over and reading it too.
Yeah.
With a nat 20.
Investigation for Cirrus. Yeah. So Cirrus, you look at this and it certainly looks like a piece of paper. That's definitely what you get with a 9. Kira, you look at this, and with a nat 20, you can tell a few things. So, as Avonwaith has said, the raven is made of paper. This appears to be one piece of a long ribbon of paper, like a ream of paper has been torn, and it has this fairy tale story on it. It looks as if it has been written in regular ink. It looks to have no sort of innate smell. It just smells sort of musty, like a forest would, or like damp paper would. It doesn't appear to have any kind of illusory text that you can detect. It's just sort of a piece of paper with a fairy tale written on it. Is all that you can really tell.
Okay, so I just describe it as you just did.
Cool. Info dump.
Cyrus is going to shrug and hand it over to Casimir. Don't know if you can make anything of this.
I'll give it a look over.
Yeah.
Is it an investigation?
Yeah, you can do an investigation. I mean, I don't know if you're going to get much more than what Kira did with the nat 20.
I also had. I still have my detect magic up on this point. I should still have my detect magic up.
Yeah. So the detect magic, that detects schools of magic, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you detect conjuration. You detect enchantment. You detect illusion. You detect transmutation.
Holy shit.
That's a lot of magic.
Sort of like latent effect in and around this piece of paper, not coming from the paper, but like a fingerprint on it.
The fingerprint now.
Or I guess like a feather print. What's the bird equivalent of a fingerprint? Beak print?
Talon print?
Talon print. Talon print on this piece of paper. So yeah, that's what you get in schools of magic. This is a piece of paper, but you obviously, with the investigation between Kira and the detect magic of Casimir, if you were to put your heads together, you might be able to figure something out. You might not. Up to you.
Not literally put two heads together, guys. I don't want to have to deal with injuries.
I mean, hold on. Could I, since I crit on that, could I cast Identify on it?
Yeah. You choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of this spell. If it is a magic item or some other magic imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, and whether it requires attunement to use, and how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. If you instead touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it. Okay. So, in touching this, Kira, is there anything in particular that this looks like? What does your magic appear like when it's done?
I would say that it's kind of like a dark, shadowy, like twirl, almost like a tendril of smoke.
Nice.
No
like a
heat
black,
or anything.
smoky tendril reaches out from your hand and envelops this page. And as you do, you can tell that this is not a magic item at all. This is not an item that is imbued with magic. It's not an item which is magical in its own purpose. It's not an item which is exuding magic of any kind. It feels as if this is an innocuous object which has been in the presence of something incredibly powerful. It also, in terms of the little side note at the end of the spell there, if you touch a creature, this does not appear to you to be a piece of a creature. This is a piece of paper.
So I share that information as well.
So when you say this was part of the Raven, and the Raven was made of paper, how did it talk to you?
Then why...
Is it possible that the Raven could have cast a spell that like projects him into something else, and that he was really somewhere else, and he wasn't the paper?
Ooh.
Cirrus looks over at Cass. Maybe.
Well,
so did you try to burn it at all while you were there?
I should have thought of that. No, I tried to stab it, and I think I lost my sword.
Sounds like you lost your senses a little bit there too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you lost your sword, like, look at this writing. This was a long time ago that you wrote this. Maybe the remnants of your sword are around here somewhere?
Oh, that's a good point.
I forgot I needed to amend that on your character sheet. Thanks for reminding me.
Can I have an old rusty sword now? Like, did you guys ever play Zork?
No, I've not.
Oh my goodness, you have to play Zork. Okay, well, it was like one of the first games ever.
Yeah.
On like Apple IIe computers. It was all, that green text of
Is that text-based one? I've seen it. I've seen it. I've never played it, but I have watched it. I've seen it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It describes like this fantasy, and you just say like up north, south, east, and west. And well, one of the things you get, I think, is like a rusty axe or something.
Yeah. Is that what you're looking for then? Are you looking around in this graveyard for a rusty axe?
Yeah. Did I drop my rusty sword somewhere? Is it all old and rusty now?
You could give me an investigation check, but you'd have to tell me where you're looking in specific, or a perception check if you wanted. Which do you want to do?
Well, I've kind of moved away from the cemetery when I was fighting him, so it would have dropped wherever I went before.
Yeah.
Where did I go?
And that's unfortunate because I'm not going to remind you.
Oh.
Because that would be completely breaking everything. You've got to make notes, friends. I'm not here to remind you of shit all the time. The videos are there if you go back and watch them.
Hey Bixby.
You can watch a video. You can watch one of the videos of which I've put many up on YouTube for you to watch. But hey, if you're not going to do that, I'm not going to give you that information for free. Hey, absolutely not.
Bixby, can you come here and track? Can you smell my smell?
Where even is Bixby? Have I left? No, Bixby's over with Celine. Bixby's doing his own thing right now.
Bixby's going to be able to smell a smell that's been there for.
Oh, true.
However long that's been.
He's a really good,
I assume, but he's not that good.
You gonna do what? Sorry.
Gosh, I didn't go very far. I just went like over to the right a little, didn't I?
Right. I'm gonna zoom out. Where are we looking? Give me. If you follow where Kira points, because you're watching Kira's screen, then I'll follow Kira's cursor. You just tell Kira whether you're going up, down, left, right. What are we doing?
Here, I'll start in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, give it a good old zoom out so that we can see the whole thing for Sue to see all of it.
Right? Wasn't I?
Right, we're on this bridge here.
Yeah.
I think I was just a little below that. I thought.
Okay.
I wasn't too far. I thought I was just over here somewhere.
Okay, so we're talking
I don't know
like
where over
here,
here is.
yeah?
Tell me.
Down, go down.
Down.
Yeah, like either there or like, yeah, they're there somewhere. Yeah, not too far. Yeah, try there.
So about here.
Yeah. Hey guys, can you come help me look for this old sword?
Is the sword really important right now?
Well, it'd be nice to still have a weapon, but we could do something else. If you guys
get you another weapon.
It'd be kind of cool to have an old rusty sword.
So Shen's mom is a weapon person.
I think she's more of an inventor. I'm not sure she was a weapon much.
I thought she had like a forge. I walked away. I wasn't listening. I was distracted.
You were very distracted.
I'm not sure if she does weapons and the like, but I mean, we could go. I don't know. Am I?
So anyway, he's paper, but he's not paper.
Yeah, he was paper, and I was turning into paper. There's some kind of magic.
You were do what?
I was turning into paper. Remember? Oh no, wait, I didn't remember that. I was gonna say remember the guy that said he was a tree, but I didn't hear that part of the story.
No, you weren't there for it.
I wasn't there. But maybe one of you guys.
Kind of paper? Was it? Were you becoming part of the Raven? If you were turning into paper.
I think I was myself, but just paper.
You didn't get a paper cut, did you? I can help with that.
I wonder if me and the Raven are from like a land of fiction that's like somehow become reality.
That's certainly something to look into. Although fiction doesn't usually take away suns.
Are you telling me that you're a fairy tale?
Maybe. Because he was, and I was turning into that.
Well, he was made of that.
Yeah.
And we learned already about the nature of this thing, and you is that you're an expression, right? Curiosity and darkness. And throughout the ages, time long gone, one of our instinctive ways of dealing with darkness is to write it down so that it's not as scary, or to share it, or to warn others. Maybe it's tied to that.
I mean, no offense, but you're not really scary.
Oh, thank you. Well, maybe there's like the good witch and the bad witch in this fairy tale.
Well, regardless, we should probably hold on to that piece of paper.
Yeah, I think so. Who wants to hold on to it? Should I hold it?
I mean, you're Cirrus.
Whoever you trust more, which might not be me.
I mean, you did lose your sword.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, given your connection, you should hang on to it. I'm more concerned that might be a danger for you.
Okay, here you go. Or you already have it, so. I kind of want to be ADHD and like fly away like distractedly and look for my sword. I'm like fixated on my sword.
Yeah, you can fly away all you like. Which way do you want to go?
But now I remember what it's like to separate from the group. I suddenly have being alone anxiety.
Oh, I see.
We have PTSD
New fear unlocked.
New fear unlocked, I was about to say. I've done something, yes. I've imbued fear in you. Great. Okay, well, it's up to you. Where do you want to go?
Does someone want to come with me and help me look for my sword?
I'll go.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So the two of you head over to that point.
And look along the way.
On the map where we discussed you may want to look at.
We got like a metal detector anywhere.
Shine a light. I've heard you can shine light and maybe you'll catch a glint of it.
I think I can. Have I got it? I think I've got a cantrip light.
I think you do have the light cantrip, yes. Is that you've not? Yeah, we didn't build out your character sheet on here.
Yeah, I've got the light. I've got a light one, which basically just gives me just a little bit of light that can probably act as a semi-torch.
Sure. What range is that visible? How far away can you see the light? not necessarily how much of the area is lit up.
Let me just going through the spell list. Hold on.
Sure.
You should make a note of what pages these are on.
I'll have a quick look online, see what it is.
It's alright, I'm looking online as well. Ah, here we are. It's a touch thing.
Yeah.
I'll It's a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet.
Yeah, that's fine. So
I'm gonna have to touch something to make it work. So I'm going to touch Avonwaith's coat.
Cool. So Avonwaith lights up to 20-foot radius, which is this. I don't know if you can see that on screen, but yeah, you start lighting up that area real good. Now, if you are looking for the sword, then I will let you do either perception or investigation. Which would you rather?
Sorry, I'm doing crocheting at the same time. Give me a minute.
No, you're all good. Which one do you want to do, Sue?
I'll do whatever one she's not.
I'll do perception. That's my better one.
Yeah, you can do one each, or one of you can give the other the help action. And
well, I'll give Avonwaith guidance. I'll give Avonwaith guidance.
Okay.
Yeah, their perception's pretty good.
Avonwaith, you have a +6 to your perception and a +4 to your investigation.
Never mind. It's up to you, Avonwaith.
Oh.
I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7. Okay, it's up to you. Do you want to do perception?
Guidance.
That's a D4 as well, isn't it?
Okay, perception. I can. Yeah.
You got a nat 20.
Ooh.
Plus the D4 equals. That was a 2 on the D4. That comes to 28.
You're rolling privately, by the way, in case you didn't know.
Yes, I do know. I'm rolling everything in private now because I don't want you guys to know what I'm rolling. Sometimes I might want to keep it a little sneaky.
I mean, to be fair, if it was real life, it'd be behind a screen.
True.
A DM screen.
Yeah.
We couldn't see him anyway.
And it'll be on the video until I make the new overlay and completely trim this part of the screen off. But yeah, it will be. Right. So, Avonwaith, you start glowing bright, brilliant white to the point that it starts like seeping in through the door to the building right next to you, and Lucille pokes her eyes out, little otter eyes, like narrowed, and like, will you fuck off? I am trying to rest in here, and you have lit up my entire resting place in such bright light. Will you please leave this place? Her little moment of encouragement to leave, not exactly those words, send you moving ever so slightly south. And it is as you move south that you peer over the cliff edge here and notice that, yes, your light does glint on something over the edge, down the cliff in the forest below.
Ooh, can I fly down there?
Do you want to?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I can't.
Are you going with
Not
Shen?
again.
Are you like carrying Shen with you, or are you going on your own?
Do you want to?
I could just watch from up here.
Okay, that way you
only-
can alert the others if I don't come back.
I will, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So Avonwaith, you, how does this look as you step towards the edge and fly down? Do you do a lovely swan dive? Do you flap on the spot and glide your way down? What's going on? How does this look to everybody else, other onlookers, with your wings?
I think I'm a little like cautious because I feel like the height, even though I have permanent wings now, so I'm kind of like ooh, and then I kind of just like flap a lot.
Yeah, I think you're starting to
Kinda
realize
clumsy.
that a wingspan is about the same or bigger than your height usually, and a wingspan on an Aasimar is still exactly that kind of thing, even with the the angelic sort of lineage. So in this narrow corner of this cliff, yeah, it is quite tight. You are trying to struggle to flap your wings properly to get down there safely. and I will give you 1 perception check more as you move into this new area and peer down over the edge and start descending. I will give you 1 more perception check to check the area below you to see just exactly what it is that you're going into.
Am I going to find
guidance to it?
Am I going to find guts of a cat? Cat guts?
You find so with a 19, as you start descending, you go 10 feet down, 20 feet down, 30 feet down, and you're starting to reach the tips of the tall, evergreen trees down here. Now, this is an area that normally would be in shade from the sun, but it's still very thick foliage, and it's so densely packed of trees that it's hard to make out what exactly was glinting. But as your ball of light self travels down through the air, you see the glint start to shimmer a little bit brighter. And as you get closer to it, you're within probably about 30 feet of it now. You not only see the rusted, old, broken sword that is lying at the bottom there that looks remarkably like your old sword, the one that you had before you dropped it, but you also see wights walking around on the ground next to it.
Ooh, spooky. Uh-oh.
Somebody gonna pray down there?
I see spooky lights. I'm gonna grab the sword really quick and fly back.
Get out.
Not lights, wights. As in undead creatures.
Oh my god.
When I say white, think of White Walker from D&D.
Oh my god.
When you look at them, you're seeing chill, pale, grey, broken skin. You're seeing long, lank, damp hair that falls down towards shoulder and even longer. You're seeing long, crooked, broken fingernails, wounds that are not bleeding, teeth that are hanging out from a chin that's hung off. You're seeing shreds of very smart clothing that's been ripped and shredded and torn.
Can I do pass unseen and then like grab it and get out of there?
Do you mean pass without a trace?
Yeah.
Okay. Now
You're glowing.
You are glowing white. Yeah, you are glowing white, and you have passed within 30 feet of them.
Okay,
it would be impossible for them to have not spotted you up till now.
Okay, just like nosedive in there, grab the sword, and just like bounce off the ground with like a big sprung and just take back up as fast high as they can go again.
Okay, right. So what we're going to do with that then is we're going to roll initiative. So I am going to place a white on the map just so that I can get them into combat mode, and I'm going to get you into combat mode.
Do I need to?
And then we're going to no, because you're not in this. We're going to roll initiative for both of you. And whichever one of you rolls highest is the one that gets to act first and go and do whatever it is that they want to do. So that could be the white coming to attack, or it could be you going to retrieve the sword. Now, this all comes down to chance, so we're going to hope and pray that you get a high number. So first we'll roll for the white. Hang on. It's not. Are we going to roll here? Are we going to roll here? Can we roll here? Oh, it's because that's in the way. Right, there we go. So the white rolled a 16. I clicked that so many times. I'm a very impatient person, apparently. Yeah, so the white rolled a 16. Avonwaith has a +3 to his initiative. So you need to roll a 13 or higher.
You got this.
Okay.
And also,
here I'm blowing on the dice.
So their dexterity is a +2. So yeah, you need a 13 or higher, because if you match them, then your dexterity is higher and you would automatically win. So we're going to roll this. You ready? Now, does guidance affect initiative? Because I don't think that that's a skill check.
I don't know on that.
It shouldn't.
I know it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't think it does. I think there's 3 things that it does.
It's ability checks, I think.
Yeah.
So ability checks.
Okay, so we're going to roll this normal.
It said yes, guidance would apply to the initiative roll, just like a bard's check of all trades. However,
Oh, does it?
guidance is concentration and only lasts for a minute.
Okay, we can say that this is within a minute because you gave guidance as we were like at the edge.
The cave
and you're
lights as well.
immediately jumping over the edge. It's not going to last past this check though, because I think you did spend enough time to walk up to the edge, look over the edge, start flying down. That's the better part of a minute. So this will be the last opportunity for you to use it, but I'm adding 1d4 to this. So we're going to go 1d20 plus 1d4 plus 3 gets you a 19. You act first. You are 30 feet away from the sword. The white is 20 feet away from that. No, is that 20 feet? That's 10 feet. The white is 10 feet away from that. In fact, I can even turn the white around so he's facing. Haha. Yeah, so you have your turn. What do you want to do with your turn? You have action, bonus action, object interaction, movement.
I'm above it still. I haven't gone down to it.
You're 30 feet above it. It is
Above.
lying on the ground.
So, can I? What's the thing that's like
I have your stats pulled up so you know your movement.
Yeah, you have 30 feet of movement by fly as well as by walking.
Oh, so I'm 30 feet above it, and I only have 30 feet of movement?
Yes.
I go down there, and then I'm like in for it. I don't know with whites. You can't shoot them, can you? Because they're like dead.
You could shoot them.
Right.
You could shoot them just the same as anything else. There's undead creatures in this world as well. They get a good shooting.
Did you watch Game of Thrones? Because it's like the White Walkers at Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but so should I do the hunter's mark and bow and arrow, or I think I have another thing where I can shoot?
I'll just grab and go.
But I can't because I can only go 30 feet down and I'm
But
stuck.
you can dash.
So I would say here that Shen is the one that can give advice because Shen is the one that stood on the edge. The rest of you are far away. Any kind of advice at this point would be metagaming, and I am going to say no on that. So Shen, you can give advice. I'll let you give advice because you're over the edge. You're stood right there.
Okay, dash gives you 60. How far were you away from the sword again?
30 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, you could go down, grab the sword, and use the dash to get 30 feet back up to where you originally were.
Okay, that sounds good.
That's absolutely accurate. You can do that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't fight, just run. You can
Avonmaith,
stick around down there.
You are a ball of shining light. 20 feet around you is an enormous orb of just this is light. This is what light is, if you ever forgot. And for a moment, it looks to people in this village like there might be the sun returning, but unfortunately, it's just a big ball. On the other hand, it's Avonmaith, so it's still a very charming ball, I guess. As you, with your wings spread, see this sword and see the undead creature about to approach it, you just instinctively manage to get to it and back in time to get there away from the white. You have dived down, grabbed it, and as you hit the ground, you push off with your feet and fly straight back up another 30 feet. This, before the white can even see what's happened, the reflection in the white's dull, dead eyes is still bright enough that you can see that it was looking at you, and it was with its attention focused on you as well. You grab it with your free object interaction. You swoop back up with wings astride you like a hawk, and it is now the white's turn, but the white can't do shit, so we're going to exit initiative. Congratulations.
Yay.
I think all you're missing now, Avonmaith, is just a halo, and you could just pretend to be an angel.
I know. I am gone.
And with that, you have this rusted sword in your hand. The hilt, as you remembered it, has been tarnished and worn with age, like eons past. You see that the leather that used to bind around the hilt, the handle of it, as I don't know what the proper word is for this. What, pommel, hilt? I don't know. the full wrap of the leather has been torn and ripped and clawed, and there's nothing really left of it. It's in tatters. So you see the like hard wood beneath it has started to rot. You see that the crossguard over the top has that's mostly intact, but it is still incredibly tarnished and rusted. And the blade itself it's got nicks in it, it's got dents, it's slightly bent, and it's incredibly rusty. But there was just enough shine over the crossguard and the pommel at the bottom that you were just about able to see it with this light cantrip. You now have this sword back into your inventory, but I would hasten to say that it is not particularly battle-worthy. Not anymore.
It could give people what's it called? Lockjaw or something?
Yeah, it could give them tetanus for sure.
Tetanus.
Yeah. You could stab somebody and maybe a week later they might die, or they might not if they've got their jabs. So take that chance, I guess. Stab someone in battle, in a week. You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Is there someone that can get this sword in better shape?
I mean, we could try to find my mum and we could make it work.
Yeah, that'd be good. Unless there's other, I want to keep the whole group up for my little sword, but
okay. You return back over to Shen, who's been standing patiently over the edge, just calling out advice. Hey, you could just run at it quick and grab it and fly back.
I'm gonna shoot it. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot the white. Okay, yeah, sure. That's certainly a choice.
I didn't know Shen was so wise.
I mean, it's certainly a choice. I just think that when everybody's like 50 feet away, you absolutely cannot be shouting advice to somebody that you cannot see over the cliff edge. So that, yeah, but you've gotten a glimpse of what is actually down there in the mists. There's been so much question over, is this water? Is it mist? What is down there? That now you actually get to see what is over the edge. And potentially why this village is named what it is. You now have...
What is this place called anyway?
Oh, I mentioned it a few sessions ago. It's called White Shade.
That
explains a lot.
Yeah. And I remember even, I think it was Cirrus asking, wait, how do you spell white? Oh, that was Kira. Yeah, how do you spell white? Is it W-H-I-T-E? No, it's W-I-G-H-T. Yeah, so you're back up on the top of the cliff. You walk your way back over towards the rest of the group, I assume. You've got your rusted sword in hand.
I'm going to turn off the light on everywhere. I'm just tapping it as
everybody, the rest of the group, you're all blinded as Avonwaith approaches, and then Shen just remembers at the last second. Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly you can't see anything because your eyes have adjusted to the light already. As you all rub your eyes, you see that Avonwaith has a long, rusted, rotten sword in hand, which you might have seen him carrying only a couple of hours ago.
But not rusted.
But not rusted.
I'm sure I can smell it too.
Probably with like feline smell, yeah.
Guys, there's some scary like undead creatures down there. Got my sword though.
Scary.
All's well that ends well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, the entire reason I asked why this village was how it was spelled?
Yeah,
They didn't explain why it was spelled like that, did they?
No, but it makes sense now.
No, but it wasn't
so
spelled that way.
I don't know what these whites are.
Well, you ask questions, you get answers. You ask no questions, you get no answers. So.
Maybe we should talk to Lucille if she, is it like nighttime technically?
I mean, it's always nighttime, so there's never a wrong time to talk to somebody. I think people
know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but I know what you mean, but in response to what you mean, I don't think that anybody is really paying attention to their circadian rhythms these days. I think you wake up when you wake up and you go to sleep when you go to sleep. It's been weeks of darkness. You don't really... There's no point in staying to a clock anymore. Especially when you're in a village where none of that matters anyway. So, you know. You saw her a moment ago shouting at you through the door, so you know that she's awake.
Something about trying to rest. If I remember correctly.
And to be fair, this whole situation woke all of us up, so I could use another 4 hours at least.
Shall we take a sleep? Because we're kind of all emotionally drained. There's nothing else.
Maybe we'll be thinking a bit more brightly in the morning and a bit clearer, whatever morning means these days.
So is Avonwaith still glowing?
No, I turned him off.
No.
I mean,
just lift that light switch.
I was yawning, so I went from a yawn to a laugh there.
Okay.
Yeah, my light spell just cantrip just works like literally light switches.
Are you all headed over to the... well, you would, wouldn't you, with your whole technology thing? You love any games and that. Are you all headed over to, like, what do you call it? To the barracks then, to the bunkhouse?
yeah, I want to go back to sleep.
Okay, cool. So you each move down south. As you walk, you I guess you're each in your own minds, and you can see the footprints of Tally in the ground, and
I linger there a little bit.
Yeah, and the horrific place where Quentin turned into a tree just before moving. You see through the windows of the cookhouse here at the bottom of the map that there is food being prepared, and it looks like it's potentially some kind of like late supper food, you know, like leftovers of the day with some assorted meats and breads and the kind of thing that you want to go to sleep with. You know, a good heavy protein and starchy meal is very good for going to sleep with. It will definitely be out like a light. As you move along the trail, you see that the door is now closed on Lucille's boardhouse, but she has also kicked out a few other people. Some of the Otterlings have been moved outside as she shuts the door and goes to rest herself. As you walk past her building and you regard these Otterlings and the young Furbolg who assisted you on the way to this village, as you assisted her on the way to this village as well, Lucille does open the door again and pokes her head out. It has become clear to me that it is time for you to move on. You may stay here for however long you need to rest. I understand that it has been a trying time for you all with family, but I have been reminded of memories I wish were not there, and I do not wish to be reminded again. So I would ask that you leave in however long it takes for you to get your affairs and your items and your prisoner in order, and then you will leave. You are welcome back, but not yet. You must leave. You must give me and my people time to get our things back to the way they were. Porthmas is a time for generosity. I extended that hand. Now it is no longer Porthmas. You must leave. And she closes the door again.
We don't need to keep the prisoner.
As you move further up north again, you see that Celine has she's sort of got herself back to looking as clean and straight cut as she always has. She's got her jumper, has got a few paw prints on it, but she's sort of licking a thumb and trying to like sponge out some of the little stains that Bixby's been nosing onto her with. He's clearly got his nose into something deep and messy, and he's just nosing at her as dogs do when they're excited, especially puppies. She catches your eye, Cirrus, and just sort of gives that motherly tilt of the head and squint of the eyes that queries, "Are you okay?"
And Cirrus will just give a tight little smile nod, and the set of his shoulders is clearly that he's unsettled, and while other people might not pick up on that, Casimir and Isma certainly can.
With an incredible dexterity, she grabs hold of Bixby's ear to get thrown up onto his back by him, and then she stands up on the crook of your elbow and just gives you a pat on the shoulder, same as she always has whenever you were troubled in the past. And you all head over towards the bunkhouse. You go. I'm going to assume that Shen is staying behind still. Is that right? You said that you were going to linger at this point.
I linger on the footsteps.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to just move the rest of the group over here then. Now, from this point, you've got towards the bunkhouse. You've got the dining hall. You've got the vegetable patch. You've got the township places where the people in the village stay. Are you going directly towards the bunkhouse group?
I think Cirrus is ready to rest. I don't know about the rest.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
I think someone might want to come and get me unless they want me to sleep outside.
You know the way back, but yeah, you can.
I mean, encouragement. I'm not.
Oh, like getting encouraged by people. Okay. Anybody in the party can give me an insight check as you look back over your shoulder towards Shen.
That's a 17 from Cirrus.
Cirrus gets a 17. I wouldn't say that Shen is particularly active in trying to deceive or persuade anybody at this point. So, Shen, do you think that 17 is enough to see that you might need a helping hand to move away from these footprints?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm looking visibly detached. Yeah. I guess is the term.
Yeah. So then, Cirrus, as you look back over your shoulder, you do spot that Shen is sort of crouched, hunched over these footprints in the ground, and seems to be lingering just a moment longer than a moment longer than a moment. Shen certainly looks like they might need a little bit of encouragement to move away from this place and actually rest tonight.
Given everyone's history with Shen, I like to think these roles are indicative of our familiarity more than they are just our ability to notice things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've been with each other now for a number of weeks. If you've not become friends, then you're at least a cohort. It would be hard to stay with somebody as close and as long as you have as a pair and not notice these things. I would imagine, personally. But yeah, it's certainly in the realms of possibility that Cirrus just instinctively knows that Shen's going to be there for a bit and might need someone to come back in a beat to grab her.
Cirrus is going to see everyone else to the barracks and then take a slow walk back and collect her. Or at least be an ear.
Cool. So then, as the group approaches the bunkhouse, with the door open to the bunkhouse, the pillager is no longer there. Your prisoner isn't in the room anymore. Let me just delete his token. There we go. Yeah, so he's not in the room anymore. He's gone. As Cirrus comes back over the land bridges and the wooden bridges and through all of these vegetable patches and past all of the otterlings and things, it does seem like this place is sort of settling down for rest, and you see that in all of the food. And I'm just going to levitate Shen through the map to get to the thing, because it's just easier than going down the walkways. So yeah, Shen, you end up here in the bunkhouse with everybody else. Here, let me just pop you in the door. You're last one in as Cirrus leads you through. Everybody is now entitled to a long rest if you wish to take one. I will just briefly ask if anybody's got anything in particular that they want to be doing during their downtime, because you get, as part of your long rest, you have 2 hours to do stuff with.
I'm just umming and ahhing about opening my letter or not.
Okay. Yeah, you see that it's been thumbed at, it's been moved, it's been crinkled and creased, but it's still been taken care of. This has been in and around something for a long time. It's furred at the edges like it's been rubbing against a pocket, but the seal is still intact and it doesn't look like it's ever been broken. Like a respectful distance was kept from this while still keeping it close at heart. And it's hard to miss that when you're looking at it and staring at it for so long that's just an automatic success on whatever roll you might make.
What does it say on the envelope?
To my love.
I could be anybody.
Yeah. This is how you found out that your dad was committing infidelity. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, wrong one.
Oops.
Never mind, it's too late now.
Yeah. It's a handwritten inked paper note that says, "Hey baby, you up? What you wearing?" That would be very funny. No,
Dad, get
it's
a
not.
mobile.
It is to my love, and it doesn't have anything else on it. It's been sealed with wax. It doesn't have anything else to it. Nothing that you could intimate just by looking at it. You would need to.
At least it didn't say something like "you up."
Yeah. Yeah. No emojis on it either.
Who writes emojis?
Yeah, I know. That's the joke.
Well, he's a dad, so that joke.
I'm glad that I'm catching on with the jokes now. That people are understanding.
Hey, does this look like an eggplant to you?
Yeah. That was the one I was thinking of. Hey. Anyway.
Don't send it back to your printer.
Yeah. Moving on from Sully being a sullied person. You know that this is a letter from your dad to you. You've not opened it yet, but it's there.
I don't feel right opening it just yet.
Okay. I think Celine is going to find her own little space. She's going over to a separated bed from the rest of you, even from Cirrus. She lays down. She sort of pats Bixby on the neck, gives him his scritches, hands him whatever kind of a treat that it seems like she might have picked up from the pumpkin patch, and then escorts him off the bed and curls up with her back to the room, looking like she wants to sort of be left for a time. Shen is thumbing at her letter. Is there anything else that anybody else is doing? Anyone else in their feelings at the moment?
Cirrus is going to have a chat with Casimir. A quiet chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Casimir will just be milling about, really, not doing much of anything.
Yeah. Go right ahead.
Quick walk.
Sure.
You guys take a walk outside?
Yeah.
Cool. So then for this, we'll say that you've gone out through the door. I assume that you're closing it behind you, but you could leave it open if you want. And you just take a walk over to the bridge, I guess.
Less than 2 days, you brought both my mothers back to me. You know I can't repay that.
Don't really need to. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, but I couldn't have asked for that.
That's why you didn't, and I did.
Yeah. We gotta get out of here.
I'm sure she'll have remembered this meeting. And once we get out of here, we'll be fine.
And getting out of here's the trick, isn't it?
Ah. If only it was that simple for us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, nothing's ever simple. I missed you, though. It's good to have you back.
Yeah. It has been too long. Quite an adventurous first day, isn't it?
Yeah. You can say that.
Lyra, in the bunkhouse, as all of this is happening outside, has taken Weaponry off, has unbuckled just enough armor that it's comfortable to rest up, but not so much that she's not prepared to fight if it comes to that. Rests in the corner on a stool, just keeping guard on the room, watching over everybody. Shen on the bunk. Celine starts to sort of snooze, and you hear like rested breathing coming from her. Bixby is sort of looking concerned at her that, you know, he's not on the bed. And he curls up and sort of lies at the foot of her bed. What are Quinn, Kira, and Avonwaith doing?
I could try to sharpen my sword here with something. I don't know.
Okay.
Is there like a rock or something to have?
There's a lot of rocks, yeah. You can
There we
find a
go.
rock easy. You're in nature. Give me a survival check to find a particularly good rock.
Okay.
You're looking for I mean, has Avonwaith ever handled swords in the way of sharpening them and getting the rust off them before?
No, but I had a kitchen knife.
You had a kitchen knife. Wonderful. Then this is going to be a disadvantage. You get a 9. You find what looks to be a hefty rock. You've got a good feeling about this rock. It's heavy. It's got a decent density to it. You definitely feel that this is the rock for you. Properly good. You find this in the dark within like a patch of weeds just outside the door. You haven't had to go very far. You turn around and go back inside.
Yeah.
And are you going to try and like scrape some of the rust off with it now?
Yeah, and everyone's gonna be looking at me like, I'm trying to sleep here.
Okay. Shen's focused on one thing. Lyra's sort of looking into the room, but with one eye closed. Celine's got back to the room. Quinn and Kira, you see Avonwaith walk in. Either of you can give me a perception check if you would like.
Okay.
That's a 15. And a 16. You both see as Avonwaith walks through the room, through the door into the room. Avonwaith is holding onto this bent, broken, rusted sword that used to be good, and holding in the other hand an old, dried, crusty piece of manure, and is heading over towards his bunk.
Oh no. Oh dear.
Well.
That's not gonna work. Do I realize it's manure on the first
No,
wipe
you don't
of the
know.
book?
You rolled a 9, friend.
But I must.
You think that it's hard. It's dense.
All right.
It's, you know, you're gonna find out soon if you continue, but we'll find out what these guys do first.
Do we tell them?
You've got a moment to do what you want to do, and then the moment is over, and Avonwaith uses it.
Is just gonna look at the big herd and just kind of deep inhale and sigh and just walk the other direction, kind of face palm and lay back on a bed. She's feeling just very overwhelmed from, meeting her father and then him disappearing and then the whole alphabet thing. She's completely brain fried, so
yeah.
She has
You're
just
worried
no
about
space
your
left for this.
You're
for
worried
this
about your
literal
companion.
shit.
Yeah, you're worried about Tree Daddy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, and what does Kira do in this moment? This brief moment before Avonwaith starts crumbling poop?
You might find a better one.
Oh, is this no good?
I mean,
looks like a rock.
There's a lot of things that look like rocks.
Oh, you don't think it's a rock?
You could say it's a shit rock.
Quinn's just gonna kind of mumble, "You can't polish with a turd."
Oh. Okay. Let me look for another one here. Can I go outside and get it?
Yeah, you can go outside. This time you take a moment longer. You've already had one check. I'm not going to make you roll another. This time you do find a flat rock somewhere near the wall. It looks like this building is made of like rather than being bricks, because it's not like an industrial place. It's not industry. It's not a capitalist city. This is a confined and enchanted and ancient cursed forests. Of course, they don't have square bricks, so they've got shingles that build the buildings together. And some of these like flatter shingle-like rocks you see that have fallen out and is loose on the ground. It looks perfectly flat, perfectly smooth, and it's the kind of thing that you might just be able to grind a bit of rust off with. You take it back inside and you sit back down on your bunk. Everybody else seems like they're about to rest. Kira, what are you doing?
Is there like an area up tall that I can get to that I can rest at?
Yeah. There's like beams in the ceiling. You could climb up on, get into one of the like ceiling beams. Yeah, I think old like Victorian building with a big wooden thick brace of wood going across the ceiling to keep the roof up. There's a big old space up there that you could climb up on. Or you could get on the roof outside. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the roof.
Okay. Kira goes back outside, and just as Kira is going back outside and climbing up onto the roof, Cirrus and Casimir get to the point in the conversation that we just left them. You guys see Kira sort of climb up on the corner of the building and perch eventually on the back roof, which we'll just sort of put there as a placeholder for it. Cirrus and Casimir, what's going on with you guys now?
I'm probably wrapping up the conversation.
Yeah, probably.
We've known each other long enough that our conversations are fairly succinct.
Lovely.
And a lot of things may have been left
keeping an eye on Kira doing climbing roofs.
Yeah, always on a roof. Always on a friggin' roof.
You leave me alone.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just keeping an eye on you.
Yeah. It's just at night time when they look out the window, are they going to see you screaming at nothing? That's the question. Just
always
or am I being speciesist?
You're being speciesist.
I'm being
I was going to say racist, but
prejudiced.
It's not, yeah.
It's not quite. Yeah, it's not quite a race of cats that I'm picking on. It's more the entire species. It'd be like if I said humans go outside and scream at nothing. Well, they do, but you know.
Well, they do.
They do. Yeah, to be fair. All right, so Cirrus and
it's not
Casimir,
illegal or anything.
You head inside. You both, with your military training and your years of experience of picking out details in the night, you both spot an enormous rock-looking pile of shit right outside the door that looks like it's been hastily thrown there. And you go back inside and you see Avonwaith rubbing a stone against a very rusty sword. And you see Quinn and Shen clearly in their feelings. Celine curled up with her back to the room, snoozing. Bixby at the ground, and Lyra sat in the corner on a stool, just watching the room by the door like a guard. Is there anything in particular that you guys do before you go to sleep, or are you just headed straight to bed?
Deep sigh, walks over to Avonwaith, goes, "Here, give me that."
Okay,
let me show you how it's
go.
done.
Lovely.
And I will teach you how to take care of a sword.
Thank you.
You'll get a what do you call it? A help action to do a sleight of hand now to see whether you are able to get some of the rust off it. Now we're going to do this like an almost like an AC. So you're going to be able to take a certain amount of rust off of this blade as time goes by, but you're going to have to hit a roll first on the sleight of hand check because you are not proficient in metallurgy. You are not a forge master. You are not a blacksmith. You are not proficient in fixing metal, especially specialized metal like swords. So you are doing this to see whether you're able to get the total points of rust off. You're going to get a d6 every time, and there's 20 points of rust. You need to hit over a 14 on your sleight of hand check. You get an advantage this time. Your sleight of hand is +3, and you are not proficient in it. So we're doing this with advantage, and you got a nat 20, which means that you get to roll 2d6 to see how much you get to roll off of this. And with Casimir's help, you manage to get, with 2d6, 3 points of rust off. So you're now down to 17 points of rust. I'm going to put that on your thing. I'm going to put that on your character sheet as one of your 3 resources at the top so that we can keep track of it. So yeah, with Casimir's help, with a trained hand and a straight edge eye and a calm stroke, Casimir helps guide your hand, Avonwaith, so that you yourself can do it. But always in those early stages of any new skill that you're trying to learn, you feel some stumble. You feel that the rock slips a little at times and it catches a little at times. And you're not quite there, so you're only knocking off a little bit. But you do feel like you've made a good enough progress to get some of it back to the way that it should be. You feel like with some time, some patience, and some effort on future long rests or during the daytime, whenever it can be called to, said to be that, you have this feeling in your bones that maybe this blade might have something that can come from it. But in the meantime, you are without a serviceable weapon in terms of melee combat. Cirrus, you walk past Casimir as he helps Avonwaith with his blade. What's going on with you? You're the last person now, before we rest.
He's just going to do his own weapon maintenance and go to bed, I think.
Great.
Be sure to tell Bixby that he's a good boy. Give him pats.
Bixby just with the quiet barks at night time. He's getting better at being.
He used his inside voice.
He's getting better at being a helpful companion and not one that just barks and yaps and scratches all the time. So yeah. And as you go to scratch him, he sort of gets a little bit overexcited at actually having some attention for a moment, since Celine hasn't been doing it. And he sort of like opens his mouth, and you feel your hand going into his mouth, and he looks like he's going to bite, and he doesn't. And he's just like, ow, ow, ow. And he goes back to curling up and lies down on the floor again.
Good boy, stay.
And he just sort of wags his tail, and then you see that the eyes close, and the head lolls, and the tail slows down. But it stays wagging even while he dreams. And you all get a long rest. New day. And you can use the long rest function on your character sheet if you've got a foundry sheet. If not, and don't worry about it, do your own. I've done one for Avonwaith. I'm going to do one for Lyra. I don't believe that anybody used much while we were in this day, but there were a few spells cast, so it's worth just doing it for that. And yeah, you all get a full 6 hours of sleep. You wake up after your 8 hours total rest, and you are all in this bunkhouse together. What's the priority of the day? What are people talking about and thinking about doing?
Cirrus wants to have a conversation about how to get out of here. I don't know if anyone has any ideas or how to get out at all.
I mean, there was a story about a portal and babies getting teleported, and I doubt the otter in charge will say anything to us about that.
So, at this point, is Kira in the bunkhouse, or are you peering your head over the roof edge to look in through the window and say this?
I am hanging down with my head looking through the window.
Hanging down over the edge. So I'm going to drag you over here then. So Kira is fully like upside down. In fact, let me just turn you upside down. There you go. So Kira is fully upside down and looking in through the window and holding a conversation with the rest of the room. Lyra sort of looks around and rolls her eyes. Doesn't really know what to make of that. Hasn't gotten to know you yet. But yeah, stays in the corner. What are the rest of you doing and saying in this conversation?
I have no ideas. Sorry. I wish I did.
I mean, Jen, do you want to tell him about it? I was there for most of that story, and then I got distracted.
Well, Quinn would also have a bit of an idea as well.
Yeah, Quinn might have a better idea. Quinn?
I was too young. I mean, someone in my village, like, summoned a portal and we were able to get out that way, but I don't know how to do it. I'm not powerful enough of a sorcerer yet, and we could try to find somebody, but
I guess finding my mum might work. She said she was up north somewhere. From here.
We could try that.
I mean, that's really the only lead we have.
Then it's the best place to start.
Okay.
I grab onto the opening of the window on the inside, the top of it, and like kind of flip myself inside.
Give me an acrobatics check.
Guidance!
Oh, no.
Guidance!
No, I'm good.
Okay.
18, you managed to dexterously get in through the window without either breaking glass and landing on it or falling off the edge of the cliff directly behind the building. Good job. You managed to just about get inside. That was close. I was going to make you have a dexterity saving throw to try and hold on and not fall into the white pit. Okay, great. So, as you dexterously fly in through the window, that was nearly disastrous. I love it when you guys do those kind of things.
To see if the window is open.
You flip your way in through the window that clearly was not designed to be opened, but you make it through without taking damage anyway. You land on the floor among your fellow companions, and I guess you each have decided that you're going to move north. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not welcome here anymore, so...
As you all turn, you see that Lyra is already stood at the door. Armor is already strapped on. Case and sort of, whatever sort of luggage is very lightweight. It's all very small. It looks very practical. It looks like Lyra is a well-traveled person and knows how to make an exit when one is needed. Already just on it, ready, snap of her fingers, ready to go. Holding the door open for anybody that wishes to go ahead of her, and you each have the option to do so. Is there any particular marching order that you want to go in? We can decide this now before we get into the whole north of here part.
Cirrus is going to want to be up front.
Okay,
close to up front.
Drag you up front.
I'll be near the back. Well, Casimir will be near the
near
back.
I guess I gotta be kind of front.
You're going to be kind of front, so behind Cirrus, we assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I never put the healer right in front, but I am also the directions person.
True. Any other...
I'm just going to be above everybody a little bit.
You're above everybody? Okay. So we'll have...
You have to...
We'll have you have a little...
anybody in this group. Come on.
Floating...
Nobody's above him.
Oh, wait. No, we'll do
in the air.
that. So you're
Like, we know.
flying... Yeah, Avonwaith is so much more important than everybody else. Lyra, I think, is going to want to go up front as well. Doesn't want to take the priority in the lead, though. So sort of still walks at a half step behind Cirrus. But is still a traveller in and among these woods and has a sense of things as well. So she's going to want to sort of try and help guide the party wherever possible. Quinn, Kira?
In the back.
I'd probably be like in the middle because I'm kind of squishy, so and I want to stay close to Shen.
Okay, so you
can
are
sort of figure out where we're going.
And then nestled right amongst the middle, we've got Celine and we've got Bixby. That's lovely. Okay, so we're going to just keep this order up here so that I can remember it as reference. But I am going to drag you down across all of this so that we can get to the actual spot where Lucille is. And as you approach here, you see that these folks have all moved to their rest for the night. The door is open. Lucille is out. She's talking to one of the chefs over here and asking them in sort of just a low voice, did anything happen overnight? Is everybody okay? Those kind of words. Just reassurance. And off in the distance, you see that the tents that the folks from our Heroes in a Half Shell group have all been vacated, and those guys are all... I can't find the last one of them. Oh, there they are. Yeah, and those guys have all already moved on during the night while you guys were asleep. You start walking up on your approach to Lucille. I know that this is a backwards order. I'm just keeping it that way as a reminder to myself. But yeah, is there anything in particular that you want to say to her or do anything like that?
Cirrus is going to thank her for her hospitality and apologize for disturbances and inconveniences. Manners and politeness.
Thank you for your words. I had time to think, but it's still time for you to go. I needed rest. I need space from these memories. She makes eye contact with each of you as you sort of are there. Shen being quite close to the front, you notice that she doesn't make eye contact with you at all.
I give her a small bow and say, thank you for everything.
She takes in a deep inhale of breath, and on the exhale, she sort of takes a long moment with her eyes closed and then looks at you. And she finally addresses the elephant in the room and says to you, when you arrived, I did not see it. But when she did, I saw it. I see her in you, and I cannot see you. Your mother is reason for my husband to be gone. I do not wish to dwell on this matter. It hurts whenever I think about it, but I have faith that he will return. I still, however, need space, and I mean no disrespect, but you cannot be here. It breaks my heart every time I think about it. I wish that you will find what you want in this world. I wish you all of the happiness that life can bring, but it cannot be here, and I apologize for that.
I keep my head bowed and then say, I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's my fault for seeing too much of your mother in you. And my husband in that. And you go past. As you get to the building at the edge of town, it is now apparent to each of you that you are headed down a slope back into the woods. Is there anything in particular that you guys want to do before going, or anything like that?
Oh, Cirrus, I think, is just going to make sure that we know where north is.
Okay.
Anyone know the Girl Scouts?
Have any of you got the keen mind feat?
No.
Nope.
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's a shame. Alright, well, yeah, you've got... I'm going to reuse one of our older maps, by the way, just for the woods part, because I've not made something that's just going to be woods. It feels stupid. But yeah, you've got... You're all there at the edge, and Lucille is sort of catching wind of this. What do you need from me? I can help you with one final thing before you leave.
Well, we're heading out, and we plan to head north. What's the best way to head out that way?
Go down slope. Go down slope. At edge, turn right. You see big tree. Big tree in distance. You follow route for that. That take you north. You'll find north, follow the same direction for whole way. North is same wherever you are. Keep going in that direction, you will find it. That is north. You know principle of compass, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So follow same direction, keep follow same direction, keep follow same direction. And eventually you'll find something. I don't know where you go, but is there, I guess. 3, keep going. Yes?
Yes.
Brilliant. Then get out of my village.
We'll follow the stars.
And yeah, you find your way back to the slope. You find your way to the right, and you keep walking. After, say, 15, 20 minutes, maybe a few stomachs are starting to rumble. Maybe it's Celine's, maybe it's the dogs, maybe it's one of the party. You are still not at the tree. You've seen the tree. The tree is so fucking huge that you've not been able to approach it even in 20 minutes of walking. What do you want to do?
Maybe we should stop for some foods.
It is important to keep our energy up, and yeah, let's go ahead and just have a meal break.
Well,
reevaluate, make sure we're going.
Did we get to the vegetable garden? Where are we really? Where we are on the map?
You've already left.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we're technically not on this map.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I've yet to move you over to the new map because I'm just setting it up ready for you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So what's everyone planning on doing?
If we haven't got food, I've got the spell create food and water.
Mm-hmm.
Are we if we find somewhere safe and use that?
So you have around you. I'll describe the terrain to you. I'll describe everything about that. You have there's like a narrow stream that's running along your left side. You are each moving northwards in the direction of this enormous fucking tree, and you see that there's like the odd torchlight from little dwellings that people have made of their own along here. There's grass underfoot. There's foliage cracking beneath that as well. Old twigs and bushes and shrubberies that you trip into and stumble over, and the kind of thing that, like a rabbit hole, you might just stick your foot in there every once in a while. Feels like it might be difficult terrain for the purposes of that. And as you make your way through this area, you notice that the dense foliage surrounding you is also cracking and moving, and that there is a breeze in the air, and that there is not a lot of heat around. The sun being gone for so long, you forget how cold night can get, but the last few weeks have been a stark reminder of that. And not particularly many of you have been dressed for cold weather. So you walk through this area and you don't see anywhere in particular for you to stop. There are sort of places nearby which are settlements. There's the torches on the ground. There's the trees. There's potentially some new terrain over the horizon. But everything here feels like it is sort of some distance, if not a lot of distance. What do you want to do? And you can discuss it out loud as a group as well, because you would be in that world.
I think Cirrus wants to get a gauge on how everyone's feeling and how everyone else is doing, and the likelihood that they can just push on.
Cool.
Yeah, push on to a safer destination first, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't feel so good. Let's keep going.
Right. Okay.
Cirrus will pass out jerky.
I'm just going to go down the line and I'm going to ask everybody what they are thinking, feeling, doing, focusing on before we get into the next map. So Lyra's not here. Kira, can you say anything for Lyra? What Lyra might be trying to do? Focus on in mechanics and not, whichever way you want to do it.
I feel like Lyra would just be trying to help us and guiding us to where we need to go, because that's what they were doing with the family members that showed up.
Yeah, so wayfinding, like navigation, survival, protection, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a vanguard almost.
Could you put your finger on any particular skill in the abilities list that she might be doing?
Let me look at her character sheet real quick.
Like perception or anything like that?
Yeah, I think that she would be trying to like keep an ear out, keep an eye out, make sure that nothing's gonna come and get us, and just try to get us the proper way home. Well, someone's home.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So she is going to roll a survival check for that. Can I also just ask, Avonwaith, you're a ranger, right? What was your preferred terrain?
Woods, I think.
Okay, so I believe we're in that. So that should have some bonus for you. So I'm just gonna roll something here. And hang on, I should have done that with advantage. There we go. And Lyra is going to roll survival. Lyra rolled an 8 on survival.
Can she get help action from Cirrus, because he's largely doing the same thing?
So you're both doing survival wayfinding? Or did you want to do like a perception kind of a deal?
I think it's more beneficial for him to help someone else out. He could do perception because he is largely... I think for him right now, he's largely watching the skies, making certain that he's got a beeline on, okay, this star means we're headed in the same direction, we're not getting turned around.
Yeah.
That sort of trying to make sure we're on the right track and finding a way out.
Okay.
If that leans into giving advantage, he'll do that. Otherwise, he'll make his own roll.
So your focus is still on survival-based navigation, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll roll again, and that bumped up by 2. Lyra got a 10. Worth it? Not worth it? Who's to say? Casimir, we're going to go back. We're going to go to you because you're at the very back of the pack. Is there anything in particular that you are doing?
No, just keeping an eye out.
An eye out for
just anything that's not a bit of a just keeping an eye out.
Just sort of like keeping your eyes open, making sure that you're aware of like threats, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I just want to have a look at what benefits a ranger gets in a moment as well, but I'll come back to that. Okay, so you would you care to do a perception check or a survival check? What is it that you're focused on, do you think? Which of those skills do you think applies best to what you're trying to do? I will trust your judgment and you may roll it.
It's literally no difference. Probably perception.
Okay. So roll perception. Eyes open for threats, but at the moment, unfortunately, it's dark foliage, it's dark like atmosphere, it's dark ground. Everything here is just dark. It's like walking in inky blackness. It's hard to see really anything besides the few torches that you might pass by on the ground. And at the moment, you're not really feeling your most effective. Let's go to Shen. Shen, what is it you're looking for?
Well, I'm just trying not to trip because this is difficult terrain, right?
It is, yeah. This is why I'm looking at whether the ranger's ability to ignore difficult terrain applies to the entire party. I think it does, but I just
I think it does because I think in my other D&D campaign, some ranger thing apparently helped us a little bit.
Yeah. While traveling for an hour or more in your favored terrain, you gain the following benefits. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel.
Ah.
First one. Your group can't become lost by magic except by magical means. Even when you're engaged in another activity while traveling, such as foraging, navigating, or tracking, you remain alert to danger. If you are traveling alone, you can move stealthily at a normal pace. When you forage, you find twice as much food as you normally would. While tracking other creatures, you also learn their exact number, their sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area. You choose additional favoured terrain types at 6th and 10th levels. Now, you are, in fact, I believe, level 6. So, Avelmaith, you should have 2 favoured terrains. Would you say that forest is one of them?
Yeah, I think we said forest was one of them, right?
Yeah.
What are the other kind of terrains?
I think it's like desert, water, etc. Let me have a look.
I think you could have urban as well.
Terrain list.
Urban, Arctic, which probably won't apply to us at all. But
5e. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, and underdark. That's according to the player's handbook.
I think urban would make a lot of sense, though, given that you are a PI in the urban environment.
I would
That's a ruling for...
I don't think Underdark would necessarily fit.
Everything's dark here.
Yeah, Underdark is like underground caverns, deep tunnels, but you don't know whether you have been to any. Yeah, you've not been to any in your life that you know of.
I mean, I may have met you in a pit, but it wasn't underground.
Yeah.
Underdark is deep, cavernous, like underground cities made by dark elves, that kind of thing, you know? That's what Underdark is. So that's, well, as rules was written anyway. So yeah, you've got the choice of, if you've already got forest, then Arctic, coast, desert, grassland, mountain, swamp. I would, yes, add in urban as a terrain, but I wouldn't necessarily call it difficult terrain. I don't think it is difficult to walk through an urban area. It's quite simple, really, compared to a forest. So it's up to you whether you would want to use that ability on urban, because it doesn't give you the benefits of difficult terrain.
Maybe mountain.
Mountain works. I mean, there is a mountain in the middle of this forest.
Okay.
Yeah, that works. Okay, so forest and mountain. We've decided. Lovely. So then you are in as part of your group then. Your group will not be affected by this difficult terrain, so all of your speed numbers are all going to be the same as they would be normally. For you, Avelmaith, flying wouldn't be affected by difficult terrain anyway, but just purely for the virtue of the fact that you are in this group, they are receiving this benefit, having knowing you. And it's after an hour or so. So your first hour of travel, you get this benefit. You've each been traveling for about 20 minutes. We can now round up, as you're discussing all of this, to an hour now. We'll say that this benefit now tracks, because I'm not going to keep track of it on a time split. Fuck that. So yeah. So Lyra hasn't really learned a lot by the survival check, nor by with Cirrus giving help, judging by the stars. You're still trying to follow this tree, and you've not really figured out any other way of tracking yourselves. Casimir is looking around for threats and can't really see any. Shen, what is it in particular that you were doing? Because we did get on to you, but then we focused on the whole favourite terrain thing, didn't we?
Well, I just thought Shen is a little klutzy, that's why she was looking at where she stepped. But
yeah,
I guess I'm just unusually focused for me, and I'm just keeping my sights set on the trees to look north.
I think you would be more focused on north than anybody else, to be honest. I think of everybody that wants to focus on where they're going, it's the person who is going somewhere that they want to be. And nobody wants to go there more than you, surely. So I think it makes sense for Shen to be the one who's most focused on direction and terrain, etc. So give me a, I don't know, what do you want to do? A perception check? What is it you're looking for? You're navigating, or you're looking for threats? What is it you're doing?
I'm just keep keeping forward, keeping.
Okay.
I'd say. Shen has very tunnel visioned, I would assume.
Yeah.
She would look forward, and if she's got something in mind, she'll just go that way, and she probably wouldn't pay heed too much to the outside.
Fair enough. So give me a survival check then, as well, so that we can get whether Shen is able to navigate north. You just aiming to beat a 15.
Oh, easy. 23.
23? Oh my god. With a 23, you spot one particular spot on the sky that you know for a fact is a good old sturdy star. You have been in the wrecked roof of a health clinic for all of your known life, and you have been peering through the broken pieces of wood in that roof and looking out towards the stars, wondering what lays out there and where your family could be for your entire life. And while that might be a depressing origin, it serves you well in this moment as you look on the horizon and see that trusty star that you always knew was headed north. For the rest of this journey, you know which way is north, and you do alone.
I just whisper to the star, a familiar star, "Hello, old friend."
And the star twinkles in the night sky just a little. Kira, what you doing?
What's the cat doing?
What the cat? What the cat?
Let me look at my character sheet. Hold on.
Okay.
Did you get enough to eat?
Hmm?
Did you get enough to eat?
I did, yeah. You ordering?
I don't know if investigation would help figure out which way is north or if there's a better way to navigate necessarily.
Are you focused on the navigation aspect as well then?
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you need me to roll for that?
Well, it would be survival, I would say. I don't know if you can really investigate which way is north.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
What did you roll?
Are you sure about
Nat
that?
20.
Yeah, that's a nat 20. So you with your nat 20 on survival, the front of the pack and the back of the pack have all got their heads on straight with which direction to go in. You are spotting not what Shen is spotting. Shen is seeing a familiar sight and hasn't really mentioned it openly towards the rest of the group. But independently of Shen, you have also noticed that there's a particular way that the moss on the bark of the trees tends to grow. And you remember learning in like your cult clan training dark shadow organization, whatever word you want to give it, you remember learning how to quickly recognize which direction you need to go in. It's one of the most basic things that the recruits learn there, and it all comes back to you. It just comes flooding through. You remember everything about the bark, everything about everything else, and now you can remember keenly on this journey at the very least which direction you're going in with these trees around you. Very good. So the front of the pack and the back of the pack, they all know where they're going. Now then.
Next on the list of things is to teach Bixby the cardinal directions.
Yes, and Bixby and implant a magnet into his head? I don't know. Quinn, thoughts?
I feel like Quinn is probably still pretty distressed and might even beginning to start like unravel a little bit mentally.
Yeah.
Feeling like in a little bit of a dark place. She just was reunited with her father that she hasn't seen in 20 years. And then,
yeah,
had like this really warm reunion. It was ripped from her grasp again, and the whole business with Shen being reunited as well. And of course the alphabet thing too was just a little bit of a adding to the confusion. So I feel like she's not really
Yeah.
I feel like she's just not really in a great headspace other than knowing that we should be going north, following Shen's direction with where we're going. And I think she's just kind of going through the motions at the moment. I don't feel like she's really very perceptive about the environment around her at the moment. Just kind of like that's why she's in the middle of the pack. She's just kind of head down, focusing on her feet because that's really all I can do right now.
Sort of more self-care than trying to focus on the rest of the group.
Yeah.
And there's nothing,
really
there's nothing to take away from that. That's an important thing for people to focus on in their life in, IRL. But just so that I'm clear, you focus more on yourself than you are on the group.
Yeah, I would say I'm not in a headspace where I wouldn't help the rest of the group if needed, but definitely at the moment more distracted by my thoughts.
We need a mental health day.
I will. Everybody needs mental health days, and they deserve to be every day. Now, I'm going to ask you for something unusual now. Then I'm going to ask you for a wisdom saving throw.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, I can't actually do a wisdom saving throw? Like in the actual box? Okay.
In the thing? What's your stat? What's your number?
So on my character sheet, there's a little box for saving throws. It doesn't let me click that.
Oh.
Oh, wait, yes it does. Never mind. I was clicking on the wrong thing.
You got a 7. You go on. Say.
I was gonna ask if I could give Bardic Inspiration to help, but she already rolled.
Well, to be fair, we wouldn't know she's going through that.
Yeah, it's not something that you can. It's not something that at this point that you can outwardly spot until this wisdom save, where Quinn, you feel the crack of some of this weight pressing down on you, and you feel that you start to cry, and that you feel it pour out of you. And the Shen, you in particular, and Celine behind, both notice, and you feel after a brief little a flip up onto Bixby, you feel Celine sort of press a warm hand up against you and offers you a tissue that, of course, every mother has close to hand. Is there anything in particular that Quinn would do in this situation as you feel yourself sort of emotionally start to crack?
Thank you. I don't know what's going on and I'm so scared. I don't want to lose everybody again.
Shen, you can hear this, and you have noticed this, and
I snap out of my star thingy-majiggy and go to Quinn's side and put my arm, with consent, put my arm around her to give her a hug, a side hug, one of those ones you could do while you're walking.
Yeah, arm around the shoulder, squeeze.
Yeah, that's it.
A good old one. And then we'll get. I'm just going to shuffle up the order just a little bit on this other screen. Okay, so now we're going to move over to the other map. Now that I've got it ready for you.
Ooh.
And as we move over to this map, I am going to ask Avonwaith, who is flying in the air above the party. What is it in particular that you are focused on? We've asked everybody else. It is now on you. You are how many feet up in the air, do you think?
20.
20 feet. Okay, so you're approaching sort of the tips of these trees. These are old trees. They've not been cut for a long time. They're old, good old trees. So they've lived a good life and they've grown a long way. So 20 feet isn't really a lot to them. But it is a lot to you. You can see the ground and you can see how far it is, and it's unusual for you to be up in the air for this long. It feels quite nice, though, now that you've got wings of your own that are permanent. And maybe in your last encounter with Flight, it didn't go so great because the Raven was there, and you nearly got fucked. And your sword fell and aged for a long time. We don't know how long. But you now are in the air again, and you're starting to feel the freedom, and you're starting to see around you. And now that you've gone further into the forest than ever before, you see that there's swathes of trees going all the way across the terrain, up and down, through pits and valleys, castles and mountains, and all kinds of things you see in silhouette on the horizon. You see that there's smoke coming from certain places. It looks controlled, and then smoke coming from other places that doesn't look controlled. And you don't know which is which, and which is good and which is bad. What in particular are you trying to focus on while you're up here in the heady heights of 20 feet in the air?
I've just been thinking about the Raven and thinking about how flying over this forest feels familiar, but yet I have no memory of why I'm familiar with forests.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if I'm going to see the Raven again.
Okay.
And do I want to? And should I be looking for ways to find him again, or should I be looking for ways to run away? And I'm just kind of, while I'm thinking all these deep thoughts, I'm just kind of spying out the different like smoke and things that I'm seeing around me.
Okay. So you're sort of spying out the area surrounding you, is that right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So can I get a perception check from you then, I guess?
Okay.
Let me just roll this. Are you guys hearing the fact that I'm rolling dice then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool. Here, here's another one for you. Haha. Very cool. Alright, so Avonwaith with a 19 on your perception check as you're looking around and you're up in the air. You get a good sense of your surroundings. You see that there are dwellings up to the northwest, quite close by. That is, how long away? This one is only 50 feet away. And you see that there's trees on the horizon as far as the eye can see. You see that there are torches that light sort of further up towards the north area, and another one a little bit over to the right. And you also see skulking through the shadows a bunch of werewolves.
Ooh. Where are the werewolves?
They are now revealed on the map if you zoom out.
Werewolves? They're wolves.
Werewolves are their wolves. And yeah, you are the only person that's seen this so far. Everybody else has been in their feelings or focused on navigation or just not rolling high enough. So yeah,
I zoomed in for you.
You now find this. The thing is that Kira has dark vision, but the two that are within range to see them are behind Kira, and if you're not focused on looking around you, then you're not focused on seeing them. So, or potentially, Kira would have seen it. Otherwise,
do you want me to roll for it?
Well, Avonwaith has seen it. It's up to Avonwaith whether he wants to share it.
So I'm gonna like fly a little bit closer down to the group and say, guys, I've seen werewolves behind us to the right, but there's some lights and smoke above us to the left. Maybe we should go find the shelter of the lights to stay away from these werewolves. What do you think?
Are the werewolves aware of us?
It's up to you whether you want to roll now that you know of these wolves, the rest of you. And what would you be rolling? What is it that you're each trying to do now? Okay, so Kira, because you have dark vision, you can immediately see two of them behind you, one to the left and one to the right. But with a 7 on active perception, you're only really going with your passive here.
I'm going.
You can't really see them particularly well because they are still shrouded against the night and they are hidden.
Well, my passive is 13, so okay.
Okay. Well, their stealth roll earlier on was 16 as a group. So it being higher than your passive, you don't really get to see them much. But with Avonwaith's help, Avonwaith can point out exactly where they are, and after a moment, you can sort of see them. And also with your cat-like hearing, and also probably Shen with your don't take this the wrong way, large ears.
No offense taken.
You
just don't move.
It's just a descriptor, not a prejudice. But you both having, a greater hearing capacity, shall we say, than regular humanoids, you can hear the fact that rumble in your stomach that you heard earlier was not from one of the party. It was in fact by these werewolves who have been pursuing you for probably about the last 40 minutes.
Oh gosh, dang it. Guys?
Oh no.
I think somebody wants to try and eat us.
And as you
everyone
say
else
that,
to the front, make your way to the camp.
As you say that they want to eat you, I'm going to need everybody to roll initiative.
At that point, I'm going to suggest, can we do that next week? Because I'm going to pass the fuck out.
I was about to say, and that's where we're going to end this session.
Don't worry, I'll pray to my dice.
So we'll roll
before then.
We'll roll next week for initiative then.
Yes, we will. But yeah, that's the session for today then, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Ooh. Thanks for coming, Michael. I know that you're exhausted. Please go and get some rest. And we'll have Jade back next week, I think.
Yep.
Are you not going to be here next time, Michael? Or is it a week after that? I can't remember.
I should be able to make next week, but then after that, I'm not going to be here till March.
Okay. So, well, I shouldn't imagine that a party of, as many as there are would be take this fight particularly long, and we'll be able to figure things out without you, yeah. Just send your details over to somebody if you can, so that someone can fight for you if it's not finished by the end of next week. Other than that, thank you very much. That's been the session. Lovely.
Thank you.